Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio.
I was born to live, live to ride, ride to live. I was born to ride. American built, we forever unite. And that's the deal. I was born to
This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio.
Born to Ride is sponsored in part by Rubenstein Law, 1-800-FL-LEGAL, representing riders since 1988. Offices throughout Florida, 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
everyone was right. I was born to ride.
Born to Ride is a multimedia marketing and promotional machine with TV, magazines, streaming radio, and internet advertising opportunities. There are tens of thousands of motorcycles. We reach the people who ride them. Born to Ride. Find out more at borntoride.com.
You can join the motorcycle enthusiast conversation at 863-225-2000. Now, here's more of your hosts, Fester Jenkins and Mama Dukes on Born to Ride Radio.
Well, it's another Thursday evening. Welcome, everyone. Well, in the studio, I'm Fester Jenkins.
I'm Mama Dukes.
And we've got Ron and Debbie Galletti in the studio. Welcome back, guys. How was your week?
Good to be here, man.
Good week.
Good, excited about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man.
Woo.
Super Bowl in our own hometown.
Is there life in Florida or what? This has been exciting. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time for Tampa Bay, and we're excited about the Buccaneers, of course, but a lot of good things are coming up in the biker world. Deb, we do have some sad news today, and we're going to dedicate this show to someone very, very special.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the news of the passing yesterday of Dale from Wheels Through Time out of Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And if you've ever been to Wheels Through Time, it's an amazing museum. All American motorcycles, all airs. The museum is just fabulous. And
over $20 million worth of American motorcycles, antiques. The guy was a encyclopedia times 10, just a goodwill ambassador for mankind, but one of the smartest, brightest, energetic people I've ever met. And he knew every inch of that museum that he created, and he had one-of-a-kind motorcycles that no one else had. Unbelievable man. And he was always so kind to us when we went there and just rolled out the red carpet. But he was like that to everybody if it was the first day he met you. And he put a mark on so many people in our industry, and it's a great loss. And there's so many people touched by that. I looked at a post today, and there was like 2,000 comments, that many people he's touched, and it just goes on. And his son, Matt has taken over, and he's been working the whole time. He's been battling cancer for 4 years, and just a great fighter as well. But, if you're ever in Maggie Valley, you have to go to Maggie Valley just to see Wheels Through Time. And next month in Born to Ride, I'm going to pull out a big feature that we did in the past with Dale, and It's
Nice
just a
tribute.
great tribute, but it's a great loss, and we're so sorry that we lost Dale.
It was, we took the kids one time to Maggie Valley and we had to go visit Dale, right, to the museum. And of course, the kids kicking and dragging, a museum. We're on spring break. We're not at school. And just rolling their eyes and kicking and dragging, like I said. And we walked in that museum and their eyes just lit up. And if there's something in that museum that you wish you could hear, Dale would just jump on that kicker and fire it up, and fumes would be all in the building, and nobody cared. Everyone was screaming, and a lot of people you would hear walk up to Dale and go, "My dad rode that bike in the war," and my grandmother rode that bike, and he was just so honored, and he put everything in the museum period correct. So if it was a motorcycle from 20s or something like that, he had the oil cans that went with it, the clothes that you would wear, the riding clothes. He had the whole dirt track set up, just a huge mound.
Hill climb.
Hill climb, huge mound of dirt in the middle of the museum, So
he had like storefronts of Harley Davidson. I mean, it's just massive and unbelievable. And he would crank up those bikes all the time. And another thing, he wouldn't polish them all up. He'd leave them, kind of just what they looked like. And, he would get everybody involved that was in there. He'd say, "Hey, can you help me move this? Look at this. Let's start this one up. Let's take it out and ride it." And, he's just a one of it. There's no one that will replace a man like that. And, like I said,
other than Matt, his son.
Well, his son,
he's
but,
definitely following his footsteps.
It's
That's
that
an honor.
second generation.
Yes.
It was just a great loss.
That's good, though. He's going to carry it on.
Oh, exactly. And, just his son has been by his side. The whole area of Maggie Valley, he brought a lot of business to that area. Hotels, restaurants, everything. So
how old was he?
If I were to guess, I'd say
60s.
Yeah, maybe early 60s. Yeah.
So maybe a little later on.
So
late
just
60s.
Put a fight up for cancer, but
Cancer sucks.
Yes, it does.
That's about the only way to describe it. Yep.
Yep. And cancer's the silent pandemic to our people around the world.
Yeah, let's find the cure for that. Like they're going
exactly.
after the pandemic so hard.
Yeah, let's do that. But anyway, well, rest in peace, Dale.
We love you, man.
We got Dave on the line
Dave,
here.
is that Dave Nichols?
Yeah,
the
this is
editor of Born
Dave
to Ride?
Nichols. Welcome to the show there, Dave.
Hey, thanks, you guys. Let's just all be thankful for the amazing museum that Dale put together, and that's going to live on, through his family, and they're going to keep doing it, I'm sure, and there'll be generations of people that will get to experience what this man put together.
Absolutely.
Yep. Do you have a Dale story, Dave?
Absolutely. Sure. Dale is one of those people, and I think you touched on this, Ron, is he couldn't do enough for you if you came down and you wanted to videotape or you wanted to shoot stills or whatever you wanted to do to share his passion, to the world. He was just such a gentleman and so accommodating and couldn't do enough for you. And, just a real down-home guy that would take you in and he would just open up the doors to you, whatever you wanted to do, and that's rare. That's rare in our industry that you have somebody who has so much love and passion for motorcycles that it's infectious.
Exactly.
You get around him and you just can't help but catch that fever yourself,
Yeah, I'll tell a quick story on Dale. Through the years, I've had like journalists like Neil Bailey and Jim Miller and other photographers go up there and do features on Wheels Through Time and even video features for the TV show. So he knew, Born to Ride, he knew that I owned it. And one day we were up in the Carolinas and I called Wheels Through Time. I said, Dale, it's Ron Galletti from Born to Ride, and we want to come see your museum. I said, is there any hotels around there that we could get booked at, so we could spend the night? He goes, you know what? What's your number? Hold on, I'll call you right back. He calls me right back. He goes, you're booked to this hotel right across the street. And he got us a room and everything. He was that kind of guy.
That's Gabby from a holiday motel.
Yeah, what a great place too. But he is a great man. He will be missed by so many people in our industry. Everyone knows him. He's got his own show. It was called Out Behind the Barn, From In the Barn or something like that.
What's in the barn?
Yeah, What's in the Barn. And he's got his own Dale channel. Matter of fact, when I was there, he gave me a DVD, said, Ron, use this any way you want on your TV show. We love what you're doing. We want to support you. So we've been showing these clips of different motorcycles that he had and created and worked on, and in the museum. So
wasn't he a board track racer also, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, anything to do with bikes, anything. He had done it. Believe me.
Yes.
He went cross country on an antique bike.
Right.
He did all the races there was, and he was a real motorcycle guy. He was just a real great guy.
But all American motorcycles. That was the criteria for his museum. But and he worked his butt off like all summer long in the great months in Maggie Valley all summer long. Then he would always say, December I close and I work on all these bikes and get them ready for next year and go shopping for parts and picking and swap meeting and all that. So he just kept it rolling.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He may not be on the planet anymore, but his legacy will live on, and it will touch so many people, down through time. I'll tell you, it's just if you haven't been, folks, Wheels Through Time is an amazing experience.
For sure, and Matt will carry it on. Matt's very knowledgeable as well, and
you bet he will.
And he's been really taking the helm the last few years. So anyway, we dedicate this show today to Dale, Wheels Through Time. If you're in the area, you got to see the place. You have to see it. Put it on your bucket list.
Well, hopefully the Cherokee Rally will be back in September of this year. And if so, hit the Cherokee Rally and hit Maggie Valley, and you will have a great time.
It's right across the mountain.
That's right.
So, boy. Dave, it's good to hear from you. Chopper Town is coming up, and, reading the letter from the editor, you got a lot of good stuff in there about Chopper Town. Last month, you talked about the 200th issue of Born to Ride, and we're also coming up on 1,300 TV episodes. So I know you have something to say about that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys. We all love bikes, and it's what we do. We would do this, what we do for a living. We would happily do for free because it's our heart and soul. You never work a day in your life if you do what you love, and that's certainly true whether you're a motorcycle salesman or whether you build bikes or just ride them. It's like it's such a big part of your life. And we're very, very blessed. Yeah, we've had our 200th issue out there, and 25 years of quality motorcycle entertainment that we are still putting out there. The beauty of Born to Ride is that there's just about anyone that's ever been in this industry that Ron's got videotape of you somewhere. So it doesn't matter if it's Arlen Ness, or Dale Waxler, or people like John Parham, who had the National Motorcycle Museum and owned J&P Cycles. It's like these people live on through Born to Ride. Thank goodness for that, and thank goodness for Ron and Deb for making this their passion way back when, because it's still going strong, folks. And you talk about the Chopper Town Live coming up. That's at Thunder by the Bay in Sarasota, Florida, this February 19th through the 21st. It is going to be the ultimate chopper show. If you like long bikes, if you like choppers, if you like that 60s, 70s style that's come back again, make sure to get down there to Thunder by the Bay. We've got a whole building that is just dedicated to this chopper show. And it is going to be killer.
We're up to 58 builders now that will have a piece in the show.
Wow.
And see, look at that. Look at that. This is everybody that rides, all this whole time through COVID and everything that's going on. we want to get out there and ride our motorcycles. We want to go out there and have a good time and go and see other bikes. And there's nothing better than going to a custom motorcycle show. There's nothing better. Live music, great food, great friends, and you see these bikes that you just go, how in the world did this guy think of this? Look at this thing. And I'll tell you, the winners are going to get some amazing trophies and prizes at Choppertown Live. So come on down, Sarasota Fairgrounds, February 19th to the 21st. And, you know, it's going to be a first. I think this is kind of a test for all of us to see how well Choppertown Live goes, because if it's a big success, I'll bet that Ron and Deb say, you know what, let's do more of these. Let's spread the love.
Oh, yeah.
Hint.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
you know, Dave, you mentioned J&P and John Parham. I have video of him and his son. Was his son named Zach?
Is Zach, yeah.
I have Zach when he was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and now he runs the company. But I have them on the boardwalk giving out trophies when they used to sponsor the boardwalk show at Daytona.
Yeah, exactly right. And Jill, and you know, I'm friends with Jill on Facebook. Jill, if you're listening, hey, how you doing, Jill? Because Zach is still running J&P, and how much fun is it? You know, we used to do these things where we would build a bike and give it away at J&P in Sturgis every year. Mm. And one year we did, because, you know, J&P, they're another company like Paco, where they've got everything you need to build a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
So we did an exact replica of the bike in the David Mann painting Ghost Rider. And somebody won that bike. It looks exactly like the bike in that painting. That was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, you know, J&P is like Walmart for bikers. I always wanted to do a big promotion with them. But the new issue of Born to Ride is out. It's on the streets. You've got an exclusive feature with Mondo from Denver's Choppers. And you talked about a giveaway. He's given us a front end, but what a great story that is, man.
Well, you know, I can't help thinking about when Mondo called in a couple of weeks ago, and Mondo said, it's so cool to see these builders now replicating and doing what we, as back in the 60s, invented. It's like, wow, you know, he said, we just created this, and now they're, you know, bringing it all back, and that made a lot of sense. That was pretty cool when he said that, so...
Oh yeah,
and you
know, Mondo is one of those guys that there was no aftermarket. There was no motorcycle aftermarket when he started building bikes. So he would be building a bike from scratch because you couldn't go to these different companies that exist today and buy all the parts you need and assemble it. You know, you couldn't. It didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him the legend he is, you know, a visionary.
Absolutely. Yeah, when he talks about that he's going to hand build us a Springer, which is done, by the way, you know, it's hand built. It's like he makes it from scratch. And, you know, it's a piece of jewelry that gets to sit on that motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And here's something, being that we're talking about it, I was talking to Steve at Paco, because they're going to come and be on the air with us maybe next week. And they're building a whole rigid frame for us that we're going to be giving away at Choppertown Live. So here's the question for you guys. Do you think that they should build a rigid frame that stands on its own, that can be given away to anybody that wins the competition? So in other words, maybe the Springer front end from Mondo would go to the best to show chopper, and then we'd have another, you know, we could give the frame to like the second best, or we could, you know, a different person like the best panhead or whatever it would be, or do you want the frame and the front end to go together?
I mean, the way it's been set up and the way Eric's kind of put this together is one guy's going to win those those items. So it could fit that frame would be good. That would probably be the best thing, but if not, they'll have to just deal with it. But I mean, it is what it is. These builders probably have other front ends, other frames. They probably have, but a lot of these guys are lowbrow builders, and they don't have giant shops. Some of them have stuff in their backyard or garage, and that's what I love about these guys. They're so artistic and creative, and someone's going to get to win the front end, and that's been that's how we got all these builders. We're giving away a lot of good stuff, man, and it's really exciting.
It's true. And, when you tell a builder that they're going to get a handmade rigid frame from Paco, that's like they have just won, the jackpot, because these are frames that, they're never having to worry about, is this frame going to come apart? Is the neck going to break or any of this kind of stuff? I mean, you don't have to worry about it. It's solid. It's from Paco,
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's right. You don't think twice about that name, do you?
Exactly.
Well, Dave, you were saying also that, the show at Thunder by the Bay, Choppertown show, I have to tell you, it has grown legs now, and it is going to be an experience. And that's what's really cool about it, is this is going to be a whole entire experience, from the culture, the vibe, the bikes, the accessories, and all the swag, and all the
chill bunnies.
How did I forget about the chill bunnies?
Don't worry,
the
Ron
chill
did
bunnies.
it.
I know.
Cheech and Chong might be there, man. Up in smoke kind of stuff. And when but when you talk about Choppertown and bike rallies, we have someone on the phone, a special guest today, who's a generation of masterful showmanship, putting on shows, breaking it down. I'm talking about Teddy Smith from the Rat's Hole Show.
Ooh,
and
Teddy.
All right.
It's just, what his father did, Big Daddy Rat, it was the guy that we got to work with, Big Daddy Rat. And remember that we went to Canada with Daddy Rat. We flew over there with him for the Drag Fest. I mean, we've done so much with Daddy Rat, and now Teddy is just bringing it like crazy. So Teddy's going to fill us in on a lot of stuff about history, what's going on in bike rallies, the Rat's Hole show, Rat Armageddon in Daytona this year. So is Teddy on the line?
He's on the line.
Teddy.
You there, Teddy?
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, Teddy?
Welcome.
I'm great. A little cold up here.
And where?
Up in High Springs, Florida.
Oh, it's cold in North Florida.
Well,
That's up by Orlando, or Ocala, right?
welcome to Born to Ride Radio.
Great.
Well, Teddy, we got Dave Nichols from Born to Ride, our editor, formerly of Easy Rider for 23 years or so, and wanted to tell you guys hello.
Well,
Yeah, I pulled one out, 1971 Easy Rider.
1971. I bet Dave Nichols' name is all over that one, right?
When did you
Might
start
have
there,
been
Dave?
time, right, Dave?
I tell you what, guys, I didn't start with them until, I think it was 1990, something like that.
Yeah, this is a real old one. I mean, a great magazine. We were just showcased in the Easy Rider in Europe, the Switzerland one, but I guess COVID put an end to that. So
Yeah, matter of fact, the Rat's Hole show is going on. You've been doing it year after year. What can we expect this year? Because it's always the show that everyone wants to see, wants to be in, wants to be at, and be a part of. And actually, this year, Teddy, we're happy to be a part of it with the Born to Ride Editor's Choice. And the winner will be featured in Born to Ride magazine, but that's on your main show. When is your main show? The last weekend?
it's the March 13th. Yep, on the last Saturday of Bike Week.
So then,
And matter of fact, I hand sculpt all the awards, and I was sculpting out that award for Dave to give out, or the editor's choice. So Dave, we're working hard on it.
Hey, I want to thank you too, because we were just talking about, we lost Dale Wachsler, and it's the sons that end up doing the work and continuing the legend, and I want to thank you for continuing on with the Rat's Hole, because I'll tell you what, it was always a big deal when we would come down and shoot and do video and everything at any of the Rat's Hole shows. And where are you going to be in Daytona this year?
We're at the Indian dealership, Indian Motorcycle, Daytona Beach, 290 North Beach Street.
That's the old Daytona Harley, right?
Yeah, that's Rossmeyer's old place, and we've been there now for, I don't know, about 5 years. It's got a real great parking lot in the back that we have tents and some vendors and bar and music and stuff like that, and it's real easy access in and out. There's not that much traffic now on Beach Street since they're tearing it all up, so it's a great place for a bike show, because I have plenty of parking at the DMV next door for trailers if they trailer them in, and for spectators, and of course the show's always free. So we'll have about 75 of those sculpted out trophies for people to.
And that's the classic Rats you're talking about
right now at ratshole.com.
So
well, Teddy, when I first met your dad back in, I'm not going to say.
Had to be about 95 or
probably,
94,
yeah,
93.
Early
Ron,
90s.
you're not supposed to say.
Yeah, early
When you were
90s.
in
I was
grade
just,
school?
I was just a teenager.
Yeah.
I remember him he was at the bike show and was kind of in this valley like of Sturgis. It was in this big terrain, this big valley area. And had all the bikes there, and he goes, "Wow, look at this." He goes, "See this bike?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Back when I started this, the most wild bike there was out there was one that had a mushroom painted on the side." He goes, "Now look at this."
Matter of fact, you can see that on our site. I have all of the original pictures on the site from 1973 behind the A&P parking lot, and you'll see that one bike with the mushroom on it. It was they hand molded a mushroom on top of the tank, and man, just everybody crowded around that bike. It was something.
And now look where you are today. The bikes
Yeah,
have
it's hard to
hydraulics.
believe
They
that
have
my dad's been gone for 19 years.
wow.
Teddy, what was one of your first jobs that your dad had you doing to be a part of the crew?
Well, I always ran the factories and stuff. The first thing, I guess, was just running around doing everything, the trophies and stuff like that. That was back in the day where all the trophies were wood, and they all had to be hand engraved, and these new Hermes engraving machines where you had to put each letter in and engrave it, and geez, we gave away a lot of trophies back then. Also, I still have some trophies that were like 16 deep in certain classes. It was like incredible back then on the boardwalk.
Yeah, I mean, your dad was one of the ultimate showmen. He brought it, and the characters with the big rat, and just how did that impact your life? Just by what did you take from all the stuff that you're?
Well,
what did you get from your dad that you're still doing
now?
Put
it this way, most of the parents wouldn't let their kids play with me. That's for sure. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that we had a whole bunch of head shops. So on the weekends, I was in there selling job rolling papers, and my wife can tell you. I mean, we've been together ever since we were 16, and I'm 61 now. So it's she would say, "You going to the beach with us today?" And I said, "Oh, no, man, I'll get grounded if I don't get these bong pipes made." Make them all in the garage. I said, "No, I don't want to get grounded. I got to make bong pipes after school."
I can only imagine your wife's parents just loved you, right?
Yeah, he was a cop. My wife was a cop.
Oh, boy.
He says, "Yeah, I know about that Rat's Hole."
But what your dad created, it brought people from all over the world to come to Daytona just to be in the Rat's Hole show. And I mean, you're carrying it on now, but it was very impactful to our industry. And I think the people would build bikes just for the Rat's Hole show.
Well, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, Dave probably does, but the Rat's Hole was innovated in itself because it was the first bike show to be a competition outdoors. Back in some of those days, it was all like indoor shows and stuff like that. And, you know, I have all of the magazines that describe all of that they thought it wouldn't work, and, you know, turned out to be great.
You even had the Ratty Rag, the magazine.
Yeah, I had the Ratty Rag for many, many years.
So how did the mascot, the rat, evolve?
Well, one of his first stores was on 2 South Atlantic, which that road's kind of gone now in Daytona, but it was, the store itself was only about maybe 8 by 12, and we had famous airbrush artists that would be airbrushing shirts all the time, and so we would have a line out front to get in to get an airbrush shirt, because you couldn't fit that many people in there. And like everything, you know, you start lining people up, and they just sat there and stayed in a line to get an airbrush shirt, and people would ask where they got that. And, oh, that little rat hole over there. You know? And so it kind of started like that, and that was around 1958. And the store was changed to have the whole rat theme and everything, which was really fun back in those days. And in 1960 or 52, it started, and he started doing airbrush shirts. He and my mom met at Ringland School of Art in Sarasota.
Oh, that's an interesting fact.
He started doing that in St. Petersburg on Central Avenue as a print shop for T-shirts and stuff like that. And it just grew to where we had stores, Vegas and all over.
Now, as part of the prestige of winning the rat statue at the Rat's Hole, a lot of times people got to go to Germany. The winners got to go overseas for a show there.
Yeah, we did Germany for like 20 years, and that kind of fell to the wayside, unfortunately. The show, it was one of the largest shows in Europe in Essen, Germany, and it used to get over 750,000 people through the doors, and had like 6 floors of everything, cars, Formula One, just you name it. It had every single crazy automobile, all the famous racers and stuff like that. And but we brought a whole American group of bikes over there, about 12, and that, believe me, is a job in itself to get 12 guys with 12 motorcycles in the containers in South Carolina and Charleston. Of course, that was my job, and then get all their tickets and family that wants to go and everything, all in a big bunch. And our venue in that was one of the most sought after. I mean, you would see people just 5 and 6 deep all the way back all day long. So it was a great show. And so when Zurich, Switzerland took its place, that show was just off the chain. It was even better than the Essen Motor Show. And Swiss Moto we would go over there and I'd sculpt a best of show for them, and it was a limited number of bikes, and people were just so friendly over there, so nice. We just really hate that they canceled the show this year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what's going on now and what's happened this year, but where it's going. But when we come back, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask Dave to think about this: is what kind of impact did the Rat's Hole and Daddy Rat and what Teddy's been doing put on our industry to change what's happening today or to evolve into where we're at today? So hang on, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back, folks.
Check out the all-new BornToRide.com with radio, TV, industry, adventure, events, magazine, social media, and much more. It's the all-new BornToRide.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Robert Rubenstein, and this is Rubenstein's Rules for Personal Injury. Rule number 1, get an attorney. When you or a loved one have been injured by another's negligence, an experienced attorney can make a huge difference. At Rubenstein Law, we will find all of the insurance, make sure your injuries are documented, and work to get you the best result. While each case is different, a well-known insurance company's own study showed people with a lawyer on average got more money. Call Rubenstein Law at 1-800-FL-LEGAL.
Find us on Facebook, Born to Ride TV and magazine, the ultimate multimedia biker experience.
This is Boss Hogg Radio, home of Born to Ride Radio. You can join the motorcycle enthusiast conversation by calling 863-225-2000.
Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of Born to Ride Radio this Thursday evening. In the studio, I've got Mama Dukes.
Hello, everybody.
And with us is Ron and Debbie Galletti in the studio. And on the phone, we've got, hello, Dave Nichols. Are you back there?
Heck yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring back Rat Hole's owner,
Mr. Teddy.
Mr. Teddy there. Are you there now?
Teddy.
I'm here.
I managed to keep everybody online. How about that?
Wait, where's our clapping noise? Yay!
Yeah, we're proud of you, Fester.
You should see the size thumbs he has. He has like 6 of them on one hand.
And I'm chewing gum, too. Okay.
You guys give blondes a bad name. Yeah.
So today our special guest is Teddy Smith from the world-famous Rat's Hole, and putting on shows all over the place. Coming up is Daytona. But Dave, how did it shape the things in our motorcycle world, or custom builders, and to create new builders, and to where we're at now? It had to have some type of effect. What do you think?
It definitely did, and I'll tell you, before there were a lot of other custom hot rod and custom bike shows and things like that, there was the Rat's Hole show. And so you would go to a big outdoor area, like in Sturgis, it was out at what used to be City Park. And so this beautiful day, sunny day in Sturgis, and here's this beautiful Rat's Hole show with every kind of motorcycle you can imagine. From custom choppers and bobbers to rat bikes, and antique bikes and every kind of thing you could imagine. And you could just take your time and walk and see everything, and they always had a bunch of stuff going on. It was a complete experience. And so for us doing magazines, it was a dream come true, because what would happen is, and I know, Teddy, you could back me up on this, in the early days of motorcycle events, people would hear about these things, but when the magazines started putting coverage of Sturgis or Daytona Bike Week in the magazines, people would see what was going on, and a lot of it would be like seeing the bikes at the Rat's Hole show and saying, damn, I want to go to that. I want to go next year. I am going to Sturgis, or next year I am going down to Daytona Bike Week, or up to Laconia, or whatever event it was. But that's how the whole thing grew so fast, really. Over a period of maybe 10 years, things went from just a handful of people that love motorcycles, it turned into 100,000 people showing up or 200,000 people showing up, at these various events. And this would not happen if it weren't for things like the Rat's Hole Bike Show, where you've got everybody coming out and you see coverage of these events where it's like, boy, that looks like fun. Let's go out to that thing. And that's how it happens. That's how it grows. And I'm pretty happy to say I think that's what's going to happen with Choppertown Live here a little bit later in the month. As people want to come out and see this stuff, they want to be a part of it. And if it weren't for events, like the Rat's Hole show, being at some of these motorcycle rallies, it really changed the way people thought about bikes. They would come and look at a motorcycle, and it's like a dream show because you look at bikes that you could only dream of building or having, and that's really, people would get great ideas. They'd come to the Rat's Hole show and say, oh, look at the paint on this bike. Man, I'd love to do something like that, and it inspired people. It inspired bikers all over the world. And it's all because of shows like the Rat's Hole show.
Yeah, and it was also
was your magazines and stuff, because the magazines, when you displayed and showed pictures of the bikes in the show, what really set that off was that people saw normal people in the background at all these shows. I mean, back in those days, we're scared of people with colors and all that stuff, but then everybody saw everybody just eyeballing the bikes, and you'd see senior citizens, everybody on the boardwalk and at our shows.
Everyday people.
Wanting to come see the bike shows and stuff like that, and see the art and see what everybody put into it. And that was one of the big things about our show being, it used to be called Run to the Sun, because everybody was coming to Daytona from the north to get away from the cold, and that was the first big show. And believe me, we'd sit at the dinner table, and all these guys would be calling, Dave Perowitz and Arlen and all those guys. Well, I'm bringing something special, but I can't let nobody see it until after March. No one gets to see anything until after your show, and because they would think that they worked all winter. Mm-hmm. Because there wasn't any shows in the winter then, and they'd work all winter just to do that show and showcase at the first big show. And it was a pretty big competition.
Well, one of the cool things I always thought is, if you're going to the Rat's Hole, you're going to see biker celebrities like Arlen Ness is going to be there, Corey Ness, and they're all going to see who's doing what and try to get ideas for other people. But you would see whoever's the hottest people in the motorcycle industry would be at the Rat's Hole show, because they're not only networking to do business, they're looking at other people's work, and they're just, it's the hottest place to be. And
to debut.
Yeah, debut, whatever. But the media was always really strong there too. And one thing Daddy Rat was great at, and Teddy, you are too, but accommodating the media, making them feel so special that they would give anything to be a part of it. And Daddy Rat would always set us up before, during, and after the shows to what we needed, so we could highlight and magnify and sensationalize his promotions. And that's what it was. It was a great promotion, larger than life, sort of like Barnum and Bailey. I learned a lot from just being around your dad. I mean, because I was young and I was just taking it all in, and he knew that I had that energy, so he would just open the gates and say, Ron, come on, do this. Get in the cart with me. Let's ride here. It was amazing. But you'd see all the main people in the motorcycle industry would be at the Rat's Hole show, and the main builders. Teddy, they'd be lined up at 6 and 5 a.m., wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. No, they'd be there in the dark. And we'd come around the corner, and oh, God. So that was a lot of things that, I had worked doing car shows. We used to do, like, my wife and I, 38 car shows a year also, besides the bike stuff. We still print for all kinds of shows and stuff like that. But learning a lot of that, we had to change a lot of the things that the old man used to do because, it just got too hard. I mean, you have to get these people all registered outside the show. You can't let them keep coming in and out, and so we had to move a lot of things. And that was the one great thing that we did for all of the magazines was, one of the greatest places we had for a long time was in the water park.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And, it was a perfect backdrop for every magazine to take pictures of these bikes. They could put them in front of a waterfall in tropical area and stuff like that, hardly without even moving them and stuff like that. And that was a great place to have a show.
Yeah,
Getting harder and harder in Daytona.
In the next few weeks, we're going to pull out some vintage from the vault of Born to Ride. For 25 years, we're going back, way back. So we're going to pull out some Rat's Hole shows that you guys are not going to believe. We got interviews with Daddy Rat and just a lot of cool stuff. It's coming your way.
25, that's nothing.
I know, for us, 25.
48.
I know.
Well, I wanted to touch on just what Teddy was talking about as far as, Daytona. And where do you see Daytona going? Because, it's changing, it's evolving, but where do you see that going in the future, Teddy?
Well, like I said, this is the 48th, and I hope I can make it to the 50th. Daytona's tough. It's always been tough. If you sat around our dinner table, you'd know that. The only time Daytona had anything going for it was when Chief Crow was the chief of police there. He was a biker. He understood it. He welcomed it. He got along real good with my dad. And what a lot of people don't know is, even though my dad had a bunch of stores on Main Street and stuff, he spent like $50,000 of his own money to make that a 2-inch curb on Main Street because the city wanted to put a 7-inch hurricane curb, which would not allow any bikes to back up over the curb, which they were going to destroy Main Street and not have any bikes be able to park on Main Street. And so with his own money, he said he'd pay for it to change that from a 7-inch hurricane curb. And you still see it today. It's the same curb, a 2-inch curb where people can back up over the back of that. Otherwise, there would be no bikes on Main Street today.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, that's a good one. But Teddy, what I want to ask you about is, Rat's Hole shows stood the test of time, but now you have another show here and another show here and another promoter in every place, dealership. Everybody's capitalizing on bike shows. So how does the Rat's Hole stand alone as always? But what separates the Rat's Hole show from the others?
I think our judging, Tony and his crew and stuff, they've been with us, some of them 29 years. Matter of fact, I mean, a lot of them 2 years ago we had 8 of them pass away on us. So it was a real tough year. But the way that our judging is, I tally, because I do the scoring myself. I won't let anybody else do the scoring to make sure that it's perfect. And I tally probably 1 million points in the office during that one day for the scores, because all the bikes get scored. A lot of shows and stuff, the judges, and we have more than one judge, so it's not just a bias thing where people just it's one judge saying what the bike. They don't judge the bike against the other bike. They judge the bike against itself. So we're judging the bike as if it was the only bike in the show against itself. And if the scores come up higher than the other scores in that class, then you're the winner. And that's how, 48 years of doing this, we very rarely get any complaints about, yeah, he really did beat me in that part, and if we talk to them, I mean, they understand, but it's been perfected to where, we hardly have any problems.
So why do they need to come to Rad Armageddon for the Bike Week this year?
Well, for one thing,
make it
we're doing all
49.
hand sculpted trophies, and those trophies you won't see at no garage sale. I guarantee you that. And it's I've had a couple of guys, lose the trophy or something happened to it, or I had one guy, his ex-wife stole it.
I was going to say in the divorce.
They would say, well, I even had one guy say that he sold the bike. I knew he had the bike up for sale, and he had it for sale. A guy from Germany came, said he wanted to buy the bike, but he'd only buy the bike if the Best of Show trophy came with it, because he won Best of Show the year before. And he said, sure, he'll sell it for this amount, which was $20,000 more than what he had it for sale at my last show. And he came to me after the show and he said, Teddy, the guy bought the bike, but he had to take my trophy. So I got to have that trophy. I need you to make me one. I said, dude, I don't make those trophies just to make them. I said, I know you want it. And he says, well, what's it worth? And I said, well, we both know what it's worth.
$20,000.
$20,000. Teddy, how many events do you guys do throughout the year in locations?
Well, we used to do quite a few, but I don't know. It's going to be a very trying year. Let's put it that way. I'm not seeing Leesburg, which we started that show. We used to do car shows before that, and we started that with them, and I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen this year, which would be a shame.
Tell us everything you know about Leesburg, because that's the one thing we really wanted to know. People want to know, and I know you have an inside track on the Leesburg thing.
Well, it's just it's just a tough thing. I hate to jump over the board with it and go too deep into it, but it's tough to cancel a show twice in 1 year, and then come back and try to do it again because you've lost all of your deposits on bands unless you hire them, and hiring them with as many bands as we had in Leesburg, it's a lot of money. I'm hoping that Leesburg can find a way to pull it out, and I hope they can do it, because no one knows more than me that if you drop off a year, it's tough to get that spot back.
It's a great rally too, and I know Joe Shipes. You were telling me that he retired.
He retired. I was just talking to him today. He's in Daytona on his boat.
Well, good for him.
Teddy, I wanted to ask you. We're coming to the close of the show, but we always ask people, what would be a sign of how you've succeeded through the years to keep on keeping on, and how would you inspire others to show the success that you've had in this market and doing what you do? What's your secret to your success?
I think the secret is what my dad taught me long ago, and what we've tried to stick to it, and that's to be truthful to yourself. Your word is your word, and don't go against it, even if you have to suck it up. Just, if you say you're going to do something, do it, and you don't see a lot of that. And, hey, believe me, these are tough times I don't have to tell Dave that. You don't walk up to the newsstand now and see 30 motorcycle magazines like you used to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm so happy that Born to Ride and all of, well, I'm really happy I just live in Florida, let's put it that way. But, I was just talking to my buddy in New Jersey, and they're locked down. Matter of fact, they said that they might not be able to do only half of the Super Bowl before they get kicked out of the bars and stuff. So, it's just a really sucky time, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Dave, how do you put it
I hate to see some of these greatest shows, get pushed aside and stuff like that because of some of the things that are happening. But
you will be at Sturgis, though, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, she's a great governor, and we got a great governor, and they're going to keep it open. And Woody he's set to go. I mean, Sturgis is happening. We're going to have Kid Rock there, and we do our shows on Thursday. And matter of fact, if people want to get some more info, they can get that at the website at ratshole.com. Matter of fact, I put a Born to Ride coupon. If you put Born to Ride in a coupon, you get 20% off for the rest of the weekend, for listening to this. So,
oh, that's cool.
Get yourself a Rat Swag shirt, or get some of I still have on there all the vintage stuff from the 70s and stuff, motorcycle stuff, so pretty cool. But I'm hoping that this industry, matter of fact, even for the show in March, we got an electric class for the bikes.
That's awesome.
That's a first.
Well, Teddy, we're excited that you're here today. We're running to the end, but Dave Nichols, you got to put it all in perspective. What was this hour about, man, and where are we going? And how was it?
And your big upcoming Editor's Choice Award at the Rat's Hole Show.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Put it in perspective, Dave. You're the man.
All right. Well, listen, folks, here's the deal. We started out talking about the Walkslers and how we've lost a great person in the industry with the Wheels Through Time Museum, and we talked about people like John Parham and different people who keep the flame alive, and Teddy is certainly doing that with the Rat's Hole Show, and it's all of us together. We're all gonna get through this crazy time that we're in right now. We're going to get through it. We're going to come through the other side. And the main thing is we'll be out there riding motorcycles and loving the lifestyle. And you know what? Let's all try to get out there to Sturgis in August and be part of the Rat's Hole Show and be there and be down in Daytona for that show, because they're not going to get to us. We're going to keep on keeping on, everybody. Just keep the faith and motorcycles forever.
Born to Ride for life.
Yeah. Well put, Dave. Well put. Fester, man, what a good show today.
Oh, yes. Awesome.
The SWAT team came and closed us down last March on Saturday morning, but we still did the show anyways.
Well, I can say
nothing's going to stop us.
That's right.
I can say that at Gibtown, I mean, the bikers want to be out there. In other words, they want these towns to realize that, hey, we're still out here. We're still, we're not afraid, and, let us do our thing there,
Gonna ride.
Yep.
Well, Teddy, once again, it's ratshole.com.
That's it. And,
all right.
Born to Ride is the coupon.
Woo-hoo.
And you've got all kinds of cool stuff for them to get, all kinds of merchandise, the Rat's Hole merchandise, and it's all there at ratshole.com. And don't miss the Rat's Hole Bike Show at Daytona. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah, sign up for, we have a slingshot show on the first Saturday, a bike show on Sunday, and then we do the world's largest V8 motorcycle parade on Friday the 12th, which we give all of the money to the Shriners. We've given them over $100,000. And then our big show is on Saturday, March 13th.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, guys, you being here with us this Thursday evening. And that about wraps it up for Born to Ride Radio this week. Mm-hmm. Hope everyone enjoyed it. And like always, signing off, keep it in between the ditches, be safe, and we'll be back next week.
Go Bucks!
Yep.
Go Bucks!
Yeah, go Bucks!
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
If Instagram is your thing, we're there. We're everywhere. Follow us at #Born to Ride Motorcycle Media, your #1 motorcycle resource.
Yeah, I have to say, Born to Ride has been a big influence on my trailer sales in the last 2 or 3 months. It's been nothing but a big surprise. I mean, the magazine articles, everything in the commercials, it's been nothing but the best of help to me in my business.
Is your business becoming invisible? Create a great advertising relationship today with Born to Ride. Call 888-795-5779.
This is the Boss Hogg Radio Network. 1170 AM WKFL Bushnell. 1330 AM WWAB Lakeland Plant City. 1360 AM WHNR Cypress Gardens Winter Haven. And 1390 AM and 107.5 FM WAVP and W298BU FM Avon